Is an awesome God. Is no God. Our God is an awesome God. Is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above. Is no God. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above. free? What would you ask if you had just one question? Yeah, yeah, God is great. Yeah, yeah, God is good. Yeah, 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 yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger among us, trying to make his way home. God had a face. What would it look like, and would you want to see? If seeing meant that you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all the prophets. And yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah, What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger among us, trying to make his way home. Trying to make his way home. Back up to heaven all alone. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the hope they give just a song like one of us. Just a stranger among us, trying to make his way home. Just trying to make his way home. Like a falling rolling stone. Back up to heaven all alone. Just trying to make his way home. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the Pope, maybe.
That's right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's of course the one and only Brother Mason. How are you? How is everything going on? Of course, it's the Brother Mason show right here on a beautiful Sunday. Sunday is always a beautiful day. Even if the world is not that great, but you know what? Because it's a blessed day. It's the it's a holy day. It's a holy day. So it's always gonna be beautiful. So do you even care even if the weather is not great out there? But yes, my beautiful people, how you doing? Yes, I go by the name. I'm your host, Brother Mason. Today I'm gonna take you to church. Today we're gonna be talking about spirituality, and as you can see over there, the topic is what is God? Who is God? Where is God? So this is the thing that we're going to be talking about, and whoever who's going to be watching this, I know there's not a lot of people here at the moment, but it's okay. Whoever who's going to be watching this later, hopefully you're going to gain some insight and knowledge and some awakening, and you're going to get something that's going to try to help you. So yes, this is what we are talking about. Most people, they've got absolutely no idea about spirituality. They've got absolutely no idea about what we're talking about. They've got absolutely no idea who, when you're talking about God, what are we talking about? When we are saying, I love my God, I save my God, I respect, pay reverence to my God, what do we actually mean, or what do they mean when they're talking about God? So this is what we're talking about. This is why in my introduction for the show today, I had to play that song, Our God is an Awesome God. I really, really love that song. And me growing up in Warren Park in Zimbabwe, I actually used to go to church called the Family of God Church, Fogo in Kambuzuma, because I used to live in Warren Park in Harare. And yes, I used to listen to Joanne Osborne, whom you've just heard. One of us, I used to listen to her all the time. That was my favorite song, me growing up. So yes, we need to ask ourselves, what is God? Do we really know? What do we mean when we say, God, I love God, I pray to God? And do we even know where God is? Because most people, or some people, they're under the assumption that God is in a building. That's why they need to go to church every Sunday to go to pray to God. They need to go to some kind of an assembly of people to pray to God. So this is the kind of thing that we want to talk about. Do they really understand the concept of God, the ideation of God? And you know what? We're going to go to the scriptures, because we can't talk about God without reference to the Bible, isn't it? So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'm going to take you to church today. So I'm going to take you to the pulpit. So I've got my Bible with me, right? I know you can't see it because at the moment it's just the audio, right? So our reading today is going to be coming from the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis, and the book of Genesis at chapter 3. So we're going to be reading from verse 1 to 22, because we want to understand and we want to have a clarification and a proper gnosis, a proper knowledge of the definition and the reality of God. You know, because most people, they're under the impression that God is something that is out there, something that is external of them, something that is watching over them. So I just thought, since it's a Sunday, this is my introduction show for, we're going to be talking about spirituality on a Sunday. So it's not going to be long. It's going to be only a half an hour, 40-minute show. But we want to talk spirituality. So I'm going to go and start off with the reading. Okay. So the reading today, like I said, is from Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 to 22. Okay. So hopefully you can understand my reading. Moses and the burning bush. That's the title. Now Moses, right, hold up. It says, now Moses was attending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert, and he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I'll go over and see the strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. Verse 4. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals. The place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I've heard them crying. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers. And I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with the milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I've seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now, go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I? Why should I go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I'll be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you've brought the people out of Egypt, you'll worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, What is his name? Then what shall I tell them? And God said, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Verse 15, God said to Moses, Say to the Israelites, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name, forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Go, assemble the elders of Israel, and say unto them, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I've watched over you and have seen what has been done to you in Egypt. And I've promised to bring you out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. Verse 18, the elders of Israel will listen to you. And then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say unto him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the desert to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. And I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed towards these people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Verse 22, every woman is to ask a neighbor and any woman living in a house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and daughters, and so you will plunder the Egyptians. Right. I had to take a reading from the Exodus, the book of Exodus, chapter 3, simply because this is where I think the name of God is. When we are talking, or when we are asking, or what is God, I think the definition of God is clearly written in Exodus, because when Moses went to the holy mountain, when he was talking to the burning bush, Moses was getting instructions from God, the Lord, and he said, suppose I go, all the things that you're telling me, suppose I go and talk and tell the Israelites what you have told me, all the commandments, all the instructions, all the guidance, all the message that you have told me and instructed me. Suppose I got them and say, listen, this is what I heard from the God of Israel. They're going to ask, the people of Israel, they're going to ask, what's his name? Who is this God? Because they need to know who are you talking, what God are you talking about? So, and God said, and God replied. Right, let's go to the verse. Right. So basically, Exodus chapter 3, verse 13. Yeah, this is what it said. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? And God said unto Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. So basically, if you ever wondered what is the name of God, the name of God is I am. I am who I am. Now, there are some people who are going to be asking, when God is saying, I am who I am, it's very cryptic. What does that actually mean? So this is where we're going to try to explain things, okay? There's a couple of things that you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, right? That book that you call the Holy Bible, and we're talking about the Bible because it's a Sunday. So since we're talking, it's a holiday, so we're going to be talking about the Holy Bible. That book that you call the Bible was written in two different formats, okay? The book itself, all the way from Genesis to Revelation, is not a literal book, okay? Let me repeat that again. That book that you call the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, is not a literal book. It's not secular history. It's not events that are happening or happened at some point. Okay? The book was written in two formats. The formats are esoteric and exoteric. Esoteric is ESOTERIC. Okay? Esoteric, ESOTEIC. Now, esoteric literally means hidden or inner meaning or spiritual meaning. Or in other words, something that is underlying, deeper meaning. Okay? And exoteric, which is the opposite of esoteric, is EXOTERIC. 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 Now, exoteric simply means outer meaning or external or symbolical meaning, right? So words and figures and names of people and the places, these are all outer, external things. And this is exoteric. So to those that really understand the mystery schools and that understand antiquity and how the Bible was written, the Bible was written by initiates. Now, these initiates, and most of them, they were initiated in the mystery schools, and the Bible was written in two formats. There is an inner understanding for somebody who has been, whom the keys of knowledge and the understanding had been given to them. So when you've been given the keys and tools to understand what you are reading, you get the inner meaning of what's being tried, or what's being the message that's being given to you. But if you do not have the inner standing or the tools of understanding, you will never understand the scripture. Okay, so I need you to, because I just want to give you I want you to give a clear understanding of how the Bible was written, and that's the only way we're going to decipher and understand everything that we just read in Exodus chapter 3 verse 1 to 22. All right, now the other thing that you need to understand as well is that esoteric is the only way, or the best way, to interpret the Bible. So whenever you are reading the Bible, you need to understand it and decipher it and look at it esoterically. So you have to look at it from the trajectory of inner study. Right. Okay. We're back. Basically, there was a little bit of technical difficulties, but don't worry. We're gonna get back. Yes. So this is what I was talking about. Let me just give you a recap, because we had a little interruption here of technical difficulties, but don't worry. So, like I said, the Bible was written in two different formats. The Bible was written esoterically and exoterically. And the reason why it was written esoterically and exoterically is because, like I said, the Bible was written for the initiates, and it was written by the initiates, and the people who were meant to understand the inner meaning of the Bible, that were initiated into mystery schools, and it all happened in all antiquity. Okay, whether in Egypt, whether in Greece, whether in Rome, or whether even in Asia, most ancient civilizations that were all had initiates. So, like I said, just a quick recap. So esoteric literally means inner meaning or inner standing or spiritual meaning of things. Exoteric means words and figures, and these are names of people and places, outer external things. Okay, that's exoteric. And like I said, to interpret the Bible, to understand the inner meaning of the Bible, you need to look at it and approach it esoterically. And to approach it esoterically, you to have the tools and the wisdom and the conscience to understand it. Because if you don't, you're not going to get it. Okay. Now, like I said, esoteric interpretation reveals the inner real meaning behind the story. Okay, because most people, they just look at the Bible and read it literally, and that's where they stop, right? But they do not understand the real reason or the real purpose or the real meaning or the real message that is trying to be conveyed there. And most people lose it. They don't actually kind of grasp it. Okay, so the other thing I just wanted to say is that the Bible is a book of mental science and mind psychology. Okay, the Bible is a book of mental science and the mental psychology. Once you understand that, all the way from Genesis to Revelation, it's all about mental science. It's all about you. It's all about how your mind works. Most people don't understand that the Bible is all about your mind, how your mind works. It's a psychological book. It's not a historical book, and it's not a religious book. It's a psychological book. It's a scientific but psychologically written. Okay, we need to understand that. So once we understand that the Bible is right, hold up. Okay. All right, just bear with me 2 seconds. All right, perfect. Yeah, so we need to understand that the Bible is a psychological book. It's a mind book. It's all about mental science. Most people, this is where they get it wrong, because they totally miss the point. Totally miss the inner message, the core message, the esoteric message that is hidden, or that is being conveyed to you. Okay. The other thing that you need to understand is that the Bible is a manual for right thinking, a right approach, and the right application of knowledge to get right results. Okay. The Bible is almost like a sat-nav. The Bible is almost like a handbook. Okay, it is a manual for right thinking, a right approach, and right application of knowledge, so that you can get right results in your life. Excuse me. So once you understand the concept behind the Bible, everything will make sense. Once you understand the metaphysical, esoteric approach to understand the Bible, then you will totally understand what is being talked about. So the two things that we needed to just grasp and never ever to forget is that the Bible was written in two forms, esoteric and exoteric. And to understand it totally is to approach it and to interpret it esoterically. And when you interpret it esoterically, you'll understand the inner meaning of it. Everything will make sense all the way from Genesis to Revelation. That's number one. Number two, you need to understand that the Bible is all about mental science, and it's all about psychology of the mind, psychology of the self. Right. So going back, so now I've given you the context, or the background, or the knowledge behind it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and play the song that I started with, and now we're going to approach chapter 3 verse 1 to 22 in Exodus in a totally different trajectory, because now you've been equipped. You've got the tools of understanding. Now you've got the ammunition. You are now equipped to understand the Bible, because I've given you the right approach of understanding the Bible. Okay? So now that you go there, I just want you to reflect upon it while we're playing this song, okay? And just to reflect upon it, and we're going to approach it in a completely different way, okay? Let's go.
What would it be, and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him in all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? Yeah, yeah, God is great. Yeah, yeah, God is good. Yeah, 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 yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. What would it look like and would you want to see? If seeing meant that you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all the prophets. And yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slot like one of us. Just a stranger, all of us, trying to make his way home. Trying to make his way home. Back up to heaven all alone. On the phone. Except for your hope, maybe.
Right. We're back again. Yes, that was Joanne Osborne, and it's one of us. Oh my goodness, I love that song. I grew up listening to that song, like I said. Right. So basically, it's a beautiful Sunday, and welcome to the Brother Mason show. And I'm gonna try to have this kind of shows on a Sunday every time when I'm free, and we're going to be talking about discussing the Bible and introduce metaphysics, and we're going to introduce the spirituality, because the Sunday is a holiday, and the Sunday is it's all about helping each other spiritually, and it's all about giving each other guidance and hopefully enlightening and awakening each other. Right. I purposely divided this show into two. The first part of this show, I came over and I read a chapter in the book of Exodus, and we are talking about what is God, where is God, who is God. And what I did was to read the whole chapter 3, Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 to 22. And after I've read that chapter, I then went on to explain to you that the Bible, in order to understand it, you need to be equipped with the right tools. Because if you're not equipped with the right tools, you're not going to understand the inner, deeper meaning that is being tried to conveyed to you. Because the Bible is all about it's a mental science book. It's a book of psychology. It's a book about you. It's a book about how your mind works and how your mind ought to work. Now, for you to understand the message or the cryptic things that are in the Bible, for you to decipher them, you need to understand the esoteric or the inner meaning of it. The Bible was written esoterically and exoterically. Esoteric is the inner standing. Right, I think we're back. We're back. Yes. We seem to have my internet connection don't seem to be working properly, but like I said, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be making it this Sunday show, and we're gonna be talking spirituality, and we're gonna be understanding every Sunday. I'm gonna be broadcasting and presenting a show to you about the Bible, because I think a lot of people do not understand what the Bible is all about. Okay, so like I said just before um, in order for you to understand the Bible, you need to totally uh, get the grasp that the Bible was written in two formats: esoteric and exoteric. Esoteric is an inner meaning or an inner standing, deeper meaning of everything that you're reading. And exoteric is the literal, the names, the places, and everything. That's the exoteric. But for you to understand the story that is behind what's being written, you need to get it. So now, like I was saying, the topic that we're going to be talking about today: what is God? Who is God? Where is God? And before I read from the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 1 to 22. And in that story, Moses was talking to a burning bush. He went up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, and from there he talked to this burning bush, and this burning bush was the Lord God Yahweh or Jehovah. And the children of Israel were in Egypt, and they were in bondage, and they had to come out of do you know what? Before, let me try to do a little recap, okay? Because I want you to totally understand what we are doing here. I know this is the first show of these biblical teachings, but I want you to totally understand. So the reading is going to be coming from Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 to 22. Okay, I'm going to try to read as clearly as possible. So it's Moses and the burning bush. Chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I'll go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. Verse 4. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is a holy ground. Then he said, I am the Lord of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I'm concerned about their suffering. So I've come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with the milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I've seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. And Moses said to God, who am I? Why should I go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Verse 12. And God said, I'll be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Verse 18. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Verse 15, God said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name by which I am to be remembered from generation to generation. Go assemble the elders of Israel, and say unto them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you, and you have seen what has been done to you in Egypt, and I've promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. Verse 18, the elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say unto him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the desert to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. Verse 21. And I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed towards these people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in your house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and daughters. And so you will plunder the Israelites. So this is the reading. And for you to understand the Bible, like I said, you need to be equipped. And even the story that we just read there, this is what's called an exoteric story. Okay, the story that Moses went to a mountain called Mount Sinai, and he was talking to a burning bush, and he was hearing this voice from a burning bush. Now, this is what's called exoteric interpretation of the Bible. But if you want to understand the inner meaning of the occult, deeper hidden meaning in the Bible, you need to understand the esoteric language. So, who is God? Or what is God? Where is God? It's all written in Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 to 22. Okay? Right. Now, Moses said, if I go to the people of Israel, the Israelites, they're going to ask me all these instructions that you're giving us. Who is this God? What's his name? Who is he? And why should we believe him? And God said to Moses, when they ask you that question, tell them, I am who I am. That's my name. So God's name is I am who I am. So anybody else who tells you or who says anything else that God is something else, they are literally deceiving you, because God is I am who I am. Okay? Now, when we say I am, what does that actually mean? Now, I am is an infinite, unconditional self-awareness. Okay? I am is formless self-awareness. That's what I am is. I am is what it is. Okay? It's the infinite consciousness, the self-awareness. Okay? That is I am. Right. And the other thing that you need to understand is that I am, like I said, I am is formless awareness being. And so what we mean when we say I am is a formless being, because you need to understand that God is formless, and it is our it is our thinking that causes a reality. Okay, God is everything that there is awareness, because awareness is a reality basically. But what you conceive in your thoughts, that is God. God is I am. What you are thinking and what you are aligning yourself with your thoughts, that is God. Are you with me? That is God. Because most people that are under the impression that God is something that is outside of them. They go to church, they go to all these buildings, they go to all these places, they go to these places of worship, and they say, you know what, I'm going to pray to God, I'm going to serve the Lord. But little do they understand that the God is the God who is within. God is the self-awareness. When you are aware of things, because God is infinite awareness, but it is your own thoughts and your own alignment with your thoughts that creates your own reality. That is God. God is not something outside of you. God is not some anthropomorphic human being, somebody like a God man that lived 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. God is not like some man in the sky out there, or somebody who's listening to all your trials and tribulations. No, this is how people have been deceived. That is the greatest deception, ladies and gentlemen. So when we are saying, what is God? God is I am. Where is God? God is within you. Who is God? God is you, your own self-awareness, your own self-projection of reality. What you are thinking is God. Your very own thoughts is God. Your very thought, your very own application of awareness, that is God in action. Okay? You need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, right? The Bible is not a literal book. The Bible is not a historical book. The Bible is not a religious book. The Bible is a mental, scientific, psychological book. It's all about your mind. That book from Genesis to Revelation is all about your mind. It's all about you. All the things that you see from Genesis to Revelation, they're all dramatization. All of those things, they are just an act played out on stage for you to understand what's going on within your mind, what your mind ought to be thinking. Okay? So, your mind, your individual mind, your individual thought process is that which forms the formless God. And the formless God becomes to you whatever you think. Let me repeat that again, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to understand that, because God is that formless, that limitless, formless, that can be shaped into whatever projection. Because the very fact of the very art of thinking is you forming the formless. Are you with me? God is almost like anything that can be formed into anything. So the act of thinking and what you are thinking is you formation or formulating God. God is your own self-awareness, basically. So I want you to understand this. Listen to this statement. Your mind, your individual mind, your individual thought process is that which forms the formless God. And the formless God becomes to you whatever you think. Right? One more time. I want this to sink into you. Your mind, your individual mind, is that which forms the formless God, and the formless God becomes to you whatever you think. So whatever you think, whatever you formulate the formless, that is God. God in you, God in presence, God within you. You create your own reality. Understand that? God is not outside of you. Going to a church building on a Sunday and praying and paying some money and all of this is the greatest deception, ladies and gentlemen. Understand this? So once we conceptualize and assimilate and totally understand who God is, this is when you're going to get enlightenment and awakening, and you're going to get freedom from bondage. Okay, like I said, the Bible, everything that you see, all the names, places, and the events, they are all exoteric and symbolical. Egypt is symbolical. Egypt is symbolical for flesh. Whenever you see the word Egypt in the Bible, it's symbolical for matter. It's materialism, matter or flesh. Okay, so coming out of Egypt is your own consciousness, because consciousness has been trapped into matter. Matter is the one that is a trapped consciousness. That's why most people are very materialistic, because they've been entrapped into the realm of matter. So you need to come out of Egypt. You are an Israelite. An Israelite is one who is God, one who is God. It's Jacob. Jacob is another name for Israel. An Israelite is you. An Israelite is not a country or an ethnic group in the Middle East. No, the Bible was written esoterically, ladies and gentlemen. Grasp that. I might come back and say the same teaching or the same topic next week. So I really, really want you to understand this. The Bible was not written literally. It's not secular history. The Bible is not a religious book. So whenever you hear Moses, Jacob, the Israelites, these are all symbolical. We're not talking about an ethnic group in the Middle East. You are an Israelite because you are spirit, the spirit that is descended into flesh. And the Israelites, they were enslaved in Egypt. Of course they were, because Egypt is matter. Egypt is flesh, the physical world. Spirit has been entrapped into the physical world. So that's why you need to live your life in spirituality. You need to resurrect and come out of Egypt. So Moses is being told, for you to come out of Egypt, you need to understand that the God of Israel, I am who I am, which is your own self-awareness. So it is your own self-awareness which is going to lead you out of the entrapment of materialism. Are you with me? I know it's a very complex thing to understand, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, awareness, self-awareness is God. If somebody asks you, what is God? God is self-awareness. Okay. Limitless, endless self-awareness. I am what I think. And what you're thinking is what you are. The only personality that God unconditioned self-awareness has in you as a man. Okay? Awareness is consciousness. Consciousness is God. And just before I just finish up here, because I don't want to confuse you with so much information. But like I said, I'm going to come back again and explain this a little bit more. So the book that the chapter that we just read there, yeah, I'm just going to read this. I want you to have a spiritual, metaphysical understanding of that chapter 3 verse 1 to 20. And through this understanding, you're going to understand, you're going to comprehend who is God. Now listen to this. All great structures are erected on heavy foundations. When the Lord calls a man to a work, he must succeed in the end. And if he has laid his foundation deep and strong in spiritual understanding, this understanding is attained through meditation and study in the silence. Moses was 40 years separated from the busy wants of men, learning to know God face to face. In silent meditation, we infuse into the inner mind, the realms of our being, that same energy that used without would make us notable in some worldly achievement. But unless we do this and lay the foundation of strength and power in our subjective mind, we shall find ourselves in failing health when called upon for extra exertion in some great effort. The angel of the Lord, the flame of fire, and the bush are all within the conscience of man, becoming manifest through interior concentration. The bush is a nerve center through which the universal life energy runs like electricity over a wire, making a light but not consuming. The angel is the presiding intelligence always present in every life, action, or function. Man is first attracted by the phenomenal side of spiritual things. Then when he gives his attention for the purpose of knowing the cause, the Lord reveals himself. When Moses turned aside and began to investigate, he found he was on holy ground. The forces of the spirit at the center of man's body are so intense that the outer consciousness cannot stand the current and hold itself together. Absolute pure in essence, this inner fire must be approached by the pure spiritual thought. The removing the sandals is symbolical of this taking from the understanding all material concepts. The Spirit of the Lord has been evolving in the subconscious incarnation after incarnation. This I am had been the moving factor in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Lord was present in all. Egypt is strictly material consciousness. It pertains to the physical sense of life, the corporeal organism. Canaan is the life and substance in its radiant state. Here, the spirit finds its natural expression. The thoughts that belong in the radiant body have become slaves of material sense and the higher self. The Lord would set them free. But to do this, the higher understanding must become part of their consciousness. All things are created by and through certain states of mind, of consciousness. The higher spiritual consciousness is infused into the mortal or personal. Personal I am must take on supreme I am. When this is first experienced, there is a feeling of inefficiency, but the Lord's inner promise of his presence under all circumstances is a mighty assurance. Metaphysicians have learned by experience the power of words and thoughts sent forth in the name of the supreme I am. The word of the Lord has often been spoken by naturally weak men and produced marvelous results. They set the minds not upon the weak ideas of man and his abilities, but upon the almightiness of the great I am. The Lord God speaking through them does the work of the master. It is not I, but the Father, the supreme I am, he doth the works. John 14 verse 10. Right, now to just finish this off, I just want to read for you the first 3 commandments. Okay, the 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20 verse 2 to 17. But I'm just going to read the first 3 commandments. Right, the first commandment says, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Commandment number 2, you shall not make yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. Commandment number 3, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is, hopefully you've understood when we are saying, what is God? Who is God? Where is God? God is not some external entity which is outside of you. God is self-awareness. God is a formless, limitless, infinite conscious awareness. But your own alignment to that formless consciousness, to create your own reality. That is a God within you. That is God meeting God face to face, like Moses did. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, that has been really helpful to you. Like I said, I'm going to be coming here on a Sunday, and we're going to do some Bible studies. We're going to have a proper metaphysical understanding of the Bible, okay? Because the Bible is a great book. You have to understand how to read it. It was written for people who've been initiated, been given the tools of understanding. But for those who do not understand, only the exoteric, food for the babies. That's why most people that do not understand what they are reading. That's why most people they are praying and no answers. Because they are God. Because the real God is the God within you, the God of awareness. The I am who I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave it this for this week, and hopefully this has been a great show. And thank you for having me. My name is Brother Mason, and you're gonna catch me here each and every Friday, each and every Sunday, and hopefully we're gonna have great shows. And thank you so much. I'm gonna leave you with this song, and we're gonna close on this. Thank you very much, and have a happy, beautiful Sunday. Look after yourself. God bless. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and you have a blessed Sunday. I shall see you next week. Okay, take care. Bye bye.